Okay, we are going to deviate from our regular scheduled program and doing the Sicha of the Parsha because it is Erev Gimmel Tammuz, it's Erev the Yartzeit of the Rebbe, and in America it typically falls out parshas Korach. And that was last week here. In America, it is still going to be parshas Korach. And actually, the Rebbe was nifter on Shabbos parshas Korach. Gimmel Tammuz Tafshin in Daled, 1994. And 3 years earlier, on 1991, that was the last time the Rebbe gave a sicha on parshas Korach. And it's interesting, what are the first words of the Sicha? Gimmel Tammuz Hu, Hayom. Okay, so the Rebbe already, 3 years before his P'tira, is already giving us a whole Sicha about Gimmel Tammuz. What Gimmel Tammuz is.
Would you translate the first words that you said?
Sure.
Which is the first words? I'm sorry. Please stop me earlier.
Okay.
What am I?
What did he? You said the first words in the Slicha were?
The first words of the talk that he gave
in
1991, which was the last time he spoke about Parshas Korach. The first word, the whole Sicha is about Gimmel Tammuz.
Okay.
The whole Sicha is about Gimmel Tammuz. It's all about Gimmel Tammuz, the day of his Yartzeit. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So the Rebbe has already given us a Sicha, full Sicha, a way to kind of how to take off from Gimmel Tammuz, from his absence. Yeah.
Sicha, what does it mean?
Sicha, it's a talk. It's a talk. It's a talk. Yeah, it's a conversation, but here these are called sichos. That's separate than they're called ma'amarim, which are philosophical, more pointed to philosophical theses. You know, they're all spoken. They're spoken, and then they're written down afterward. But that's the sicha is just kind of a little bit more casual, a little bit more like jumping around. You know. Speech, yep.
Was that the last time that he spoke?
Yes.
91?
Exactly, on Parshas Korach. This was his last Sicha of Parshas Korach.
And you want to point out that he knew the date? Or what
So it's all about Gimmel Tammuz. Why does the Rebbe talk about Gimmel Tammuz? Which happens to be what his Yartzeit is going to be. Which is what it is, which is tonight, Gimmel Tammuz. So he says that Gimmel Tammuz is already a date on the Chabad calendar. Gimmel Tammuz was already a date on the Chabad calendar. What happened, Gimmel Tammuz? Is his father-in-law, Frierdiker Rebbe, his execution, he was supposed to be executed by the Soviets on Gimmel Tammuz. Frierdiker Rebbe was supposed to die on Gimmel Tammuz, supposed to be killed on Gimmel Tammuz, and for some inexplicable reason, the Soviets changed their mind and said, you're going to go to Gullus. You're going to go to, what's the place called? Kostroma.
Kazakhstan?
No, Kostroma. I think it's in Siberia, Kostroma. And then, in about 10 days later, Yud Gimel Tammuz, they completely freed him. Okay? This was a government that was killing priests and rabbis left, right, and center. There was no reason in the world why they should just let the Frierdiker Rebbe go. Okay? And they just let him go. On Gimmel Tammuz, they stayed his execution, and instead of being in prison, they said, go to exile. 10 days later, then they said, you're free to go. Okay? The one other thing in history of note took place on Gimmel Tammuz. What happened on Gimmel Tammuz? One of the last battles of Yeshua in conquering the land before the last battles of the south, to finish off conquering the south of Eretz Yisrael, he had an event where he davened to Hashem that Hashem should stop the sun. Okay? Shemesh begivon dom. Okay? Hashem, please stop the sun so that we can finish wiping out these enemies and finish the battle. And Hashem stopped the sun and the moon for that. That happened on Gimmel Tammuz.
The original daylight savings time.
Very funny.
Thank you, David.
Everything comes from the Torah.
Uh-huh. That's only if you're pro daylight savings time. Okay, so
What did you say?
It was nonsense.
it was complete nonsense.
He doesn't speak nonsense.
Hmm?
It was Bronx, you speaking nonsense.
Sometimes you got to speak nonsense, you know. Okay. So he asks a question by both of these things, because both of these things seem that why did Yeshua daven for the sun to stand still? Right? Why doesn't he daven for him to be victorious over the enemy? Just wipe out the enemies. Let's go home. Or let him daven that even when it's dark, that there should be light for them. Like in Mitzrayim, that there should be light for us, that we should, or just throw down stones like you were throwing earlier. Just wipe them out. Let us just. So the Rebbe asked the Kash, and the same Kash he asks by Gimmel Tammuz by the Frierdiker Rebbe. By Frierdiker Rebbe, the nates of the Frierdiker Rebbe, why didn't he just get let go now? Why the delay? Why the step? Step after step. Okay, they didn't know that he was really going to be executed. They found out later he was really going to be executed. He's executed with stayed, and then he goes to Gullus. Okay, so they were still like Gullus. Okay, it's better than prison. And then 10 days later, then it's all smooth sailing. Why didn't it just happen? If you're going to make a miracle, Soviets are going to say we changed our mind. Let them change their mind. Gendik, go free. Get your certificate of freedom and get out of there. Why does it have to? And the same thing by Yeshua. Why does Yeshua have to daven for such a peladikanase? What a peladikanase! Stop the sun and the moon. And what is the Rebbe Bavons? What is the nace? What is the miracle that he did? Did he just stop the sun and the moon, and then they caught up later, or did he stop the entire solar system? Did the whole solar system kind of slow down and stop for this moment? What was it? What's a bigger miracle?
What does Peladic mean?
Peladic wondrous.
Can I ask, what is the source of this?
Seder Olam. Seder Olam is a medrash. It's a very, very thick medrash, Seder Olam, where it basically goes through and basically chronologically sizes all of the events, basically, from the beginning of the world until I don't know, till the base of Mikdash. I don't know where it goes till, but it goes through and says these many years and this dates and these and they're machliks in between the Medrash Seder Olam and other sources or whatever, but it's a Medrash, okay, Seder Olam. And he also is going to connect this to the miracle in parshas Korach, which is the mateh, right, the rod, right, a stick that grew almonds. Okay. So, what is the Rebbe telling us? What is like? I just kind of want to step outside a little bit. What is the Rebbe? How is the Rebbe sending us off? Now, Korach. What was Korach's issue? Korach was somebody who, we know that he had some kind of. We know that he had some tishtush, some confusion. But what was his main taina? Because the Rebbe claims that his main taina was actually right.
What is taina?
His claim. What was his claim? What was his argument to Moshe Rabbeinu? And basically his argument to Moshe Rabbeinu was, listen, we all got the Torah from the Rebbeinu Shalom. I got the Torah from the Rebbeinu Shalom. You got the Torah from the Rebbeinu Shalom. Shlomi, Yankel, Chana, we all got the Torah from the Rebbeinu Shalom. Hashem came to all of us and gave us the Torah. What do you think we need you for? What do we need you for? What do we need leadership? What do we need hierarchy? We all have an innate connection to the Rebbeinu Shalom. He gave us the Torah, each of us individually. We didn't get it through you. Hashem came to each one of us and gave us the Torah individually. Sure, Anochi. At least the first two things. And there's a medrash that he came to every single yid and gave him the Torah. Every single yid, he gave him the Torah. So if that's the case, what do we need you for? We have a direct connection. Now, is he right or is he wrong? Both. He's right. He's right. He had a mabat. He was looking at a viewpoint of Mashiach time, of Geula time. He was looking at that's what Mashiach, what's going to characterize Yemos Mashiach, is that every yid will be a Moshe Rabbeinu. Every yid will be a Moshe. Kulam amech, kulam tzadikim. Hashem talks to all of us individually. We don't need a leader. We don't need a mashpia. We don't need a rav. We don't need svarim when Mashiach will come. When Mashiach comes, even the Mashiach, he'll be the king, okay, he'll take care of bureaucratic issues. But as far as my relationship with the Rebbeinu Shalom, what I do in the world, I don't have to go ask a Rav. I don't have to go consult with Sfarim or a Mashpil. We saying I'm a heretic. We all have a chelik of Moshe Rabbeinu in us. And when push comes to shove, when Mashiach comes, when Geula comes, part of Geula is that we will all become who we're meant to become, which is our own little Moshe Rabbeinu, where we don't need an external, like we talked about Baaloscha. We talked about Baaloscha, that you need to light the candle until the candle goes up by itself, that the candle is lit, that the fire is lit without any need of any single external input. All of the input is coming from internal. Now I understand today, and by Korach's day, this sounds heretical. And Korach was totally detached from reality. That's the problem. Korach was completely detached from reality. He thought he saw this truth, and indeed, it is a truth. It is a truth that we are all Moshe Rabbeinus. We all have the potential to be a big tzaddik, and I think the Rebbe is telling us in a lot of places that the time is now. We have to stop acting like we're in exile, and the best we're going to do is be 5 minutes late for Shacharis. That we have the ability to become tzaddikim. We have the ability to tap into levels of amunah and bitachon that were not tappable to the regular people in previous generations. It's ready. We're ready to do that. We're able to do that. That is something that we're able to do. The fact that the Rebbe died on parshas Korach, and that Korach is saying this message basically. This is Korach's message. Everyone do it yourself. Moshe, what do we need you for? We can all do it ourselves. Thank you. Thank you for your guidance. It's very nice, but we all have a direct connection to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Gracias, but sayonara. Or just stick to your lane. You're your lane. I'm my lane. Shmuel Yanko's his lane. That's it. Leave us. That's it.
That's called anarchy.
It's I want to say that, but it doesn't seem that this is like you described it. Like everybody's like a
free for all.
Is a free.
It's not free for all because we're all being directed.
This is like.
Oh, sorry.
He was the first Bolshevik. The Bolshevik always. Everything need to be equal. We have the same rights, and we know better. And you want to
rule over
us. At the end of the day,
it was just about power there.
Yes, they want to take the power.
I understand. And Korach, I'm not sure if maybe maybe he had that kind of
because there's 250 other his fellow.
Okay. Listen, I'm not saying Korach was wrong. He was totally wrong, and but he was right about what he saw, but he was wrong about the practical application of that. And that, the Rebbe points out, is the difference between the parshas Korach and parshas Chukas. Because parshas Korach and Chukas, they're both made of the word chok. They both have chok in it, right? Chok. Chukas has a taf, and Korach has a reish. Okay? I can't think about this unless I write it out. But if you guys, can you guys with me? There's a kuf. There's a chaf. Excuse me. There's a chet and a kuf in both Korach and Chukas. A chet and a kuf. Chok. Okay? Got it? Korach. Okay? Korach has a reish. Chukas has a taf. Reish, okay, this reish, okay, it's two lines. Those two lines represent machshava and dibur. Okay? Machshava and dibur. And the taf represents that third line. The kav shlishi represents maisa. Okay? Now,
a little more translation.
Okay. The reish represents thought and speech, and the third line of the taf, which the reish doesn't have, is action. Okay. So the Korach he had chok. He understood this chok, which is okay. What I'm trying to what is a stream of that is running throughout all of this is that this makes no sense. Okay. This is not meant to make any sense. But Hashem wants, ultimately, his Dir B'Tachtonim vision is that all of us become little Rebbeinu Shalom's. We all are walking around, every Yid is going to be an expression of the Rebbeinu Shalom. What?
You already are.
Well, it's hidden. It's hidden. It's hidden because we're not allowing ourselves to really listen in order to be the Rebbeinu Shalom. We're still trying to be Yerachmiel or David. That's our problem. And I think that I know how to be David, or I know how to be Yerachmiel. I definitely know how to be David. Yerachmiel, I don't know for sure, but I know how to be David. Okay? But that's our problem, that I'm trying to figure out how to be Yerachmiel. My problem is I'm trying to figure out how to be. When I get out of the way of trying to figure out how to be Yerachmiel, and I say, listen, I'm going to just be quiet here. I'm going to listen. I'm going to be more receptive. I'm going to do whatever I'm supposed to do, not from a place of trying to be the best Yerachmiel I can be, but try to be the best Eved Hashem I can be, but try to align myself to the best of what it is that Rebbeinu Shalom wants from me, even if I don't like it, even if it's uncomfortable for me, even if it's not what my vision, what I envisioned of my life to be or whatever it was. Even I'm gonna move with that. I'm gonna move with that. I'm gonna go with that. And so this is like a chayk. This is a chayk. It's just this rule that we really have in us this ability to clear ourselves out and be that ultimately when this all comes to fruition, my knee jerk, my instinct from my body, from my personality will be expressing God's pure will. And yet, I'll still be my own person. It'll still be me. My name tag will still say Yerachmiel, and I'll still have my own thing and my own thing. And that's just how amazing Hashem is. He can be expressed through each individual Yid doing their each individual thing with their kochos and their whatever, and yet it's still Hashem Echad. And we're still and through that, even through that variability and that multifacetedness of you being you and me being me, but all of us being facets and like the letters of the Torah, that we will be all expressions of Hashem, and together as the Jewish people will be the Shechina. That's the Shechina. All of us together is the Shechina. Okay? In this world. So Korach had that chok. He understood that. He understood that reality and said, Im Kain, if that's the reality, if that's true, that we're all tzaddikim, that we all have this innate, essential element that is connected to the Rebbeinu Shalom, that doesn't need an outside influence, that it's from inside. Then what do I need you for? So he was the Reish. He had machshav, he had thinking, he had speech, but he was not in reality. He was not coming back to the Maisa. He did not come back down to the world. He was floating up there. He saw this truth, and he's like the ultimate, this term spiritual bypass?
No, never heard that.
Okay, there's a term, spiritual bypass. When you're feeling really, really angry, or you're feeling really this and that, and you're just gonna be like, stop. It's usher to feel this way, or it's a mitzvah to be happy. And so you basically spiritual bypass. You don't deal with the feelings. You don't deal with what messages you're getting, and you just shut it down. You just shut it down because it's an aveira, or because it's a mitzvah, and a da-da-da, and you kind of bypass the discomfort of working through feelings, of difficult things, because there's mitzvahs, there's aveiras, there's this, da-da-da-da-da. And so you don't do any of the work. You don't do any of the conscious attention to what messages our body are giving us, because anger, usher, mitzvah to be happy, and that's it. And then you don't deal with these. You're not really dealing with the resentments or the anxiety or whatever. You're just spiritually bypassing. Let me just say this mantra over and over and over again, and that's it. And so Korach was the ultimate spiritual bypasser. He saw that we were all on the level, that we were all ultimately on this level of being connected to the Rebbeinu Shalom, of having a direct connection to the Rebbeinu Shalom, that we had this ability, we had this level. And he said, if we have that level, I don't need leader. I don't need an external influencer, rabbi, teacher, svarim. I got it all. We all have it all inside of ourselves. Thank you very much. I don't need your help. And that is totally living in the clouds. He was up here, the Reish, but he had no Tuf to come bring it down. The Tuf is the last letter of the Torah. The Tuf is the last letter of Torah, Chukas. It's the last letter of Torah. It's taking that Chayk, it's taking that rule, and it's bringing it down Lamaisa. It's bringing it down Lamaisa. And that's the Shlemus. That's the Shlemus. Korach is the Havamina, is the before it's ready. When we're still in spiritual bypass and we're not there yet. Yes, it's a nice truth. It's a nice truth that Geula is going to happen. It's a truth that Geula will happen. When Geula happens, we will not need any rabbi or any outside influence or any svarim or anything like that. We will have an intuitive knowing inside of us.
Don't worry, I'll always have you.
Okay, we'll have friends. We'll have friends. We'll have friends beyond what we could even imagine. But we won't need external inspiration. We won't need external input to align ourselves with the Rebbeinu Shalom. There will be no Yetzer Hara. There'll be no what? That's part of Geula. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, in Geula we're going to go to the museum of the Yetzer Hara to kind of like review. It's going to be like a war museum. It's going to be a war museum, a war memorial, and we're going to, see, wow, all these battles that we had throughout history with the Yetzer Hara, and the final exhibition is like XXX, it's like.
But you don't mean no free will.
What?
It's not. That's
Again, free will.
okay.
Free will.
I don't have it.
Free will. Free will. Free
I
will.
take it back.
Free will.
I take back.
The free will, it's funny, it's good you say that, because free will has nothing to do with the Yetzer Hara. Free will has nothing to do with our ability, our capability to make a choice. That's not what free will has to do with. Free will has nothing to do with our ability to make a choice.
I wish you not like that. We talked about this.
Yes, we talked about this. And it's a totally radically different way of understanding free will.
Yeah, let's move on to something else.
Okay. Free will is not about our ability. It's actually that our will is free. I took
it back.
You took it back? I don't want to take it back. I just want to say one more thing about this. That what does it mean? What is our will free from? What is our will free from when we say our will is free? We have free will. What is it free from?
I'm not talking about this with you.
Okay. So it's free from any compulsion. It's free from anything acting on it. It's free. And that's to say that there's nothing acting on it. My will is free. There's nothing pushing on my will to make it do one thing or the other. That's free will. It's not about my ability to do the action or not. It's about my will being free from being pushed. And when there's a voice inside of me saying, do this, this is good to do this is bad to do, don't do this is bad to do this is good to do, don't do this is not good to do, then I'm not free. It's actually why according there's an interesting thing about tshuva in the Rambam, whether to do tshuva is a mitzvah. Meaning, if you want to do tshuva, there are halachas and mitzvahs vidui and how to do tshuva. But is there a mitzvah to do tshuva? So it seems like in one clear understanding in the Rambam, there is no mitzvah to do tshuva. There's no mitzvah to do tshuva. The mitzvah is, if you do tshuva, do vidui. This is how to do tshuva. But there's no mitzvah to do tshuva. And the Rebbe explains there is that because if there were a mitzvah to do tshuva, then I would never really be able to do tshuva properly. Hold on one second. Do you hear what I said? If there was a mitzvah to do tshuva, if there was a command from God to do tshuva, then it would limit my ability to do tshuva properly. Because then it would always be I'm doing tshuva because Hashem told me to. And tshuva really ultimately is about just coming from me. It's just there's no reason. I just feel like I have to. It's not because I'm compelled. Right. That's what free will is. Free will is doing things lishma. Free will is doing not because there's anything pushing me. There's no cost-benefit analysis that's encouraging me to do one thing or the other. I can make a choice whenever I want. I can do choices whatever I want. That's not free will. That's just being alive. You do things. You pick up it, don't pick up. Fine. But the choice is why the freedom of the will is the will being free from any cost-benefit analysis. Am I doing it because there's a good reason to do so? If there is, then it's not really free. then it's really based on that good reason to do it. Yeah.
If there's not a good reason to do it, there's a bad reason. You know when you're making your choice, it's a bad choice, but you do it anyway.
Because there's something else that makes you feel like it is good. Don't deny yourself. Don't deny it. There's something that's there's something telling you this is good.
What was the behind that my holy grandfather took himself from Luchenitz in 1939 and they come to fight Nazis in Beirut 1938?
In Beirut?
Yes.
Fight Nazis in Beirut? Your grandfather? What do I never met your grandfather.
He passed away in 2007, and then so what was his behind, like free will? You're saying that he didn't have a free will. So
Oh no. I'm just saying free will is something. Free will is something that is
He has a
very.
vision that in 2004 they get him Chevalier. Why? What was his like?
He had a vision. Is that what you said?
You're saying that behind your free will, you have to look like something that
Is something pushing? Is something
Yes.
acting on
So-
your will?
yes,
Is
yes.
something acting on your
Yes.
will that's making it not free?
so he was afraid that he will be killed there.
It could be that he there was
so
if
free
he-
will. So he could stay, but he chose to go.
I'm just saying every choice we make, just because no one had a gun to your head, doesn't mean it's not a free will. Doesn't mean it's a free will choice. We think every choice we make is free will. We think free will just means it's my ability to choose. So that's not according to Yiddishkeit what free will is. Free will is when your will is free from anything acting on it.
Like the Sahara.
No, like the Yetzer Hara, but like the ego, even the goof, even the Nefesh Bahamis, which is not the Yetzer Hara. But even the Nefesh Bahamis says, you're gonna get schar olam haba for this. You're gonna get, your wife's gonna like you for this. You're gonna get smart for doing this. You're gonna be a better person for doing this. Well, then my will is compelled by a good reason and good rationale, and therefore it limits the freedom of my will to act because I'm compelled.
All of us being Moshe Rabbeinu's,
Yeah.
there'll still have to be some kind of government, or there'll be just anarchy.
Okay, that's what you think. That's what you think, but you're not. Okay, when I took a communism class in college, okay, and the paper that I wrote on, because I found Marx and the whole idea quite fascinating, but and him flipping the dialectic of Hegel and all of that. But what was completely missing that I could not find was, well, what's going to happen that there's going to be this consciousness change? Marx was just assuming that when everything became this, there would just be a consciousness change. Like something mystical would just happen when the reality was like this on the ground, that everyone would just kind of like pop into this like loving, equal, like fairy tale existence. Okay, but we have a chelik Eloka mimal. We have a piece of Moshe Rabbeinu. We are a part of Klal Yisrael. We are part of Hashem inside of us. And actually, Hashem, that's when at Mount Sinai, that's when Hashem put that inside of us. That's what happened at Mount Sinai. We got that. An intrinsic, essential, unbreakable, untaintable element of every Yid is this koyach to be aligned with the Rebbeinu Shalom, to be a navi, and so when we're all on that wavelength, you don't need a government. You don't need a government. It's like everybody, now they're doing self-driving cars, right? Self-driving, driverless cars, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be really great when all cars are driverless, okay? When only half the cars are driverless, it's still dangerous. But when all the cars are driverless, barring any kind of, hacking the system, it's the most safe because all the cars can communicate and know exactly what they're doing and be harmonious. So that's what we're talking about, not anarchy. Everyone has an inner GPS that's totally hooked up to the Rebbeinu Shalom, that is the Rebbeinu Shalom. I don't need you to tell me what the halacha is. I don't need you to tell me what to do this chesed or to do that limud or to do this thing. I am totally aligned with my inner part of my Rebbeinu Shalom transmitter. I just have to listen to my transmitter, and it tells me what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants. That's not anarchy. If we're all listening to the Rebbeinu Shalom, that's not anarchy. I just don't need an external source to listen to.
Well,
I've turned.
We're all listening to the Rebbeinu
That's
Shalom.
right, internally. And David's transmitter is telling David what to do. Ronnie's transmitter is telling Ronnie what to do. It's not what David's doing. You're doing one thing. You're not doing what Ronnie's doing. You're not doing what the rabbi's doing. You're not doing what Yerachmiel is. You're not doing. You're doing what you're doing. Hashem's telling you what you to do. And it feels great to do it. It feels amazing to do it. Every time you listen to it, it's just amazing. It feels amazing.
Great.
So Korach is like, he understood that truth, but he didn't realize that it's going to take 3,000 years of work to bring that down to Lamaisa. He just thought, okay, we're like that. That's how we are. That's our reality. That's being a yid. Being a yid is having this reality, and therefore I don't need a teacher now. I don't need a leadership now. I don't need books now. He was totally wrong about that. That's totally spiritual bypass. It's like, oh, well, if we're this, then Moshe, I don't need you. Comes out, I don't need you. Look, we're all, yeah, but that takes 3,000 years of work to do that until we can now embrace and that's, it's Erev Gimmel Tammuz. It's Erev Gimmel Tammuz. It's Gimmel Tammuz tonight.
Birthday, so I know all about it.
So the Rebbe, we're doing the Sikha from Gimmel Tammuz. The Rebbe has a Gimmel Tammuz Sikha. Amazing. Okay? 3 years before his Yartzeit, he talks all about Gimmel Tammuz. What is Gimmel? The last time he talked about parshas Korach. He was niftar on parshas Korach on Shabbos. And you remember what day of the month it was?
That my son was born?
No.
Or that what the Rebbe passed?
Or the Rebbe passed. It was a Shabbos. You know what the English date was?
July
Remember?
4th.
It was July 4th. Remember? It was July 4th.
I
You
do know.
mentioned it before.
It's July 4th. Okay.
You're full of surprises.
So basically what the Rebbe says is that Gimmel Tammuz is the beginning of Geula.
Oh, cool.
Gimmel Tammuz is the beginning of Geula, just like the Frierdiker Rebbe. The Frierdiker Rebbe was the beginning of Geula. The Frierdiker Rebbe was supposed to be killed on Gimmel Tammuz, right? It's a day in Chabad already that Gimmel Tammuz, the Frierdiker Rebbe, was supposed to be killed, and his execution was stayed, but he wasn't freed entirely until Yud Beis Yud Gimmel Tammuz.
Why, you
Okay.
became like you're like
He
really
says
in
it.
the
He
club.
says it. He says it. I'm reading this.
Yeah, but who can read this stuff?
It's got Nekudot.
You're a professional. You're a professional. Dog.
So that's the beginning of the Geula. It was the beginning of the Geula. Also by it's also Gimmel Tammuz is the day that the sun stood still for Joshua. Okay? And so that was also the beginning of Geula, because that was one of the last wars that because he was able to beat that war, to win that war, they were able to then be Mechalek the Aretz. If you look at that, when that war happened, it happened basically right before the end, before they started divvying up the land. So it's the beginning. So Gimmel Tammuz is signifying the beginning of Geula.
Like that? Gimmel Tammuz. No, Gimmel Tammuz. Not Thomas.
Tammuz.
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 Thanks for saying Thomas.
Tammuz.
Zion.
You know, the ChatGPT also said, because I was saying, make a poster, Gimmel Tammuz, and it said it spelled it Tamas
Thomas.
in the thing. Tamas. Gimmel Tammuz. Gimmel Tammuz. Gimel Tammuz.
Tammuz, yeah.
Gimel Tammuz. Okay. And basically the vart is like this. Is that Geula, and I think this is really the Rebbe's message to us, is that Geula is not, it's not a wham bam, thank you ma'am. It's not a just Mashiach's going to come and wave his magic wand and everyone's just going to be perfect. That there is a Seder Hadvarim, there is a shlav. Just like Yeshua didn't daven, what did Yeshua say? Son, stay still, and we're going to fight the war. Right? The sun is like Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Moshe Rabbeinu is like the sun, Yeshua is like the moon, right? Yeshua said, stay there. It's basically saying, son, Moshe Rabbeinu, our leader, you stay right there. You give us the support, but we have to fight the war. We have to fight the war. Yeshua could have just davened to just kill them. Just kill them. Why did he daven such a crazy miracle? Just kill them. Just let us win the war. No, that's not it. Son, stay still, so we can fight the war, so we can do it. And that is the beginning of Galus. That's the beginning of Geula. The beginning of Geula is when it doesn't necessarily look good. It doesn't look good. It actually could look really hard. But when we know that when we are in line with this truth, with this chok, that Hashem has got us, that he is, there's no other power, that it's just the Rebbeinu Shalom, that nature is totally going to be harmonious with the Rebbeinu Shalom, that the miracles, what was the miracle? We talked so much about this, that miracles that align with nature are on a much higher level, they're on a much ideal state than miracles that break nature, right? We don't like miracles that break nature. We don't like miracles that break nature because miracles that break nature, it basically shows that there's miracles and there's nature. But when the miraculous is infused into the nature, into the natural order of things, when the miracle is infused into that, it shows that the nature itself is the Rebbeinu Shalom. When the Rebbeinu Shalom has to break nature or break the rules of nature, then it's almost like Hashem's just more powerful than nature, and that's not the point. I don't want to know that Hashem's more powerful than something else. Something's powerful.
I think that because I've heard this message so many times that what everybody seems to be freaked out about in the last 48 hours.
Yeah.
That I'm not.
Yeah. Why would you? Thank you.
I'm not because you taught me not to be.
It's in the 48 hours.
That's nice.
No, I'm seriously. I mean, it's like we're
Did you see my status? Did you see my status? I had a picture. I asked ChatGPT to make a picture. Basically, I explained to ChatGPT the idea I wanted. That basically Obama and Trump are the same thing. Everything's just run by Hashem. There's no one we're looking at more. And I asked them to make a picture to put on my status. Just to remind ourselves where Trump, Obama. Oh, Trump's good. Obama's. It's all Hashem has the hearts of these leaders in His hand, and that is where our focus should be. Okay. No.
I got a problem with that, of course.
An emotional problem.
I got a problem with it when one guy comes along and he says, "Okay, Golan Heights, you got it. Okay, I'm going to put a ministry, not a ministry, embassy over here down the block. Okay, I'm going to do an Abraham Accord over here."
So then stop freaking out. Then stop freaking out.
The other guy's a dog.
Okay, but so what do you have to worry about?
I just said I wasn't.
So but you have a problem with it because this guy's he's such a tzaddik.
Saying that the two of them are the same.
The two of them are the same in that they are both their hearts are being led by the Rebbeinu Shalom. Leiv Sarim B'Yad Hashem. It's not. I didn't make that up. It's not wishful thinking. Leiv, but their heart, their decisions, their outlook is totally directed by the Rebbeinu Shalom. They are not free agents. Okay, they're both. You're fine. Fine.
What is it, Lev?
Achashverosh. Was he a bad guy? Was he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? I don't know. I don't know. What?
What did you say? The
Leiv Malachim or Leiv Asaram, Leiv Malachim B'Yad Hashem. The heart of the rulers are in the hands of Hashem. That's all. We like this ruler, we don't like that ruler, but that we're going to be all worried, like as if Trump has some power to do something to Israel. I've decided this morning. I think I'm going to vote for Ben Gvir. I'm just going to vote for Ben Gvir.
That's a
That's
no-brainer.
it. That's a no-brainer, right? Sucks. Can't believe I'm going to put that on YouTube. Okay.
I wouldn't.
We voted for him last time.
They're not going to let me into America. What?
We voted for him last time.
I voted. It was the first time I voted for Bibi last time. My gosh, I always voted for Gimmel. Gimmel Thomas. Maybe I'll vote for Gimmel this time again. Gimmel Thomas.
I think Ben Gvir was Tet, right?
I don't know. Okay. We'll see. So basically, and this the miracle of Korach. The miracle of Korach. What was the miracle that happened in parshas Korach? The seed, the almonds. Now, right? We wanted to whose staff was going to indicate that Hashem chose that tribe, chose Aaron's tribe. So they all put the staffs in the by the Aron Kodesh, and then in the morning it was almonds. But the Torah goes on to say that it budded, it flowered, and then it created almonds. Even though in the morning they were just almonds. Like what does the Torah have to go say that it budded, it flowered, it budded, and it goes through Yartzeit, Korach, Gimmel, Shkedim, right? All these, no one saw that. No one saw that happen, right? You woke up in the morning, we saw the staffs, there were almonds, right? Why does the Torah go through and say, but you know what was happening in the middle of the night? It flowered, it budded, it flowered, it produced almonds. No one saw that, who cares? Because it's not, even though it's a total miracle that a random stick should grow almonds, even though that's a total miracle, a random stick should grow almonds, right? That doesn't happen, okay? But that it should happen in a derech hateva way. It should happen derech hateva, and almonds are the fastest fruit to grow. They're the fastest fruit to be produced. It usually takes 21 days. So it took it and it just made it happen a little faster, one night. So it's showing you the miracle is not a miracle that breaks nature. It's a miracle, yes, indeed. The staff don't usually grow almonds, that's for sure. But the miracle occurred in the most derech hateva way. It took the derech hateva and just quickened it. It quickened it. And he said, that's what's going to happen. That's going to happen when Mashiach comes. That's what's going to happen, part of Geula. The things are going to be so fast.
But it broke nature.
It broke nature. It got involved, but it got involved in the most nature way. Okay? Yes, it was a miracle. He had to make a sign. He had to make a sign. But he could have just made the sign and there were almonds. Woo, there were almonds. No. He made the sign happen, even though it was not important that it budded and flowered, and it's not important. No one saw that. Why does the Torah have to just say they woke up and there were almonds? Yay, they had a snack. No, it flowered, it budded. That's so irrelevant. Why does it have to say that? Because that's the nature of things. That's it happening. And when we are tapped in, when we're really tapped into our essence, and we're tapped into the Rebbeinu Shalom and tapped into this thing, go. It's going to happen. Whatever we need to do, zriza in the kedusha. We all about now, Mashiach, now. This whole thing, we're like jumping the gun. We want now, just to do it for us. Just do it for us. No. Gimmel Tammuz is about not having anybody do it for us. That we have to take the leap. We have to take this leap of faith. That Hashem's running the show. That I am not in charge. I am not in charge. The doctors are not in charge. The bank manager's not in charge. The policeman's not in charge. Netanyahu's not in charge. Trump's not in charge. No one's in charge. Just Hashem.
You're yelling again.
I'm yelling because it's very important. This is yelling. With my kids, that's I yell. It's not yelling. This is maybe I'm raising my voice.
He's big passionate.
All little babies.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you must be
Hashem Yirachem. Aleim. Oh my gosh.
singing to me. I think I yelled at Moshe once in 20 years, and he started to cry.
Yeah, that happens, and then but you yell
Why
again.
did I yell at him? He was just about to put his finger in the socket.
Uh-huh.
So I went, whoa! I gave him one of those, and I
Yeah.
spit down.
I will say that my last child, I think I've yelled at the least. You're when you have children, the older you are when you have children, I think the more calm you are, So that is the advantage of that. Anyway, but everyone has to go through whatever they have to go through. They have their lives to lead with their mishikasim. They're gonna have their whatever they have to work through. We're all on a fermentation journey. We're all being fermented. And we have to realize that we're being fermented. And to kick up our heels and to just we dig our heels into this fermentation process and we try to either try to speed the process up or slow it down or change direction. It's just happening. It's just happening, and we have to. It's not the process that's causing us problems.
Oh.
It's our resistance to the process.
Only from the kimchi guy would you hear a word like that.
There you go. This is my whole workshop, fermentation and the soul. And so basically we're on a fermentation journey, and that fermentation it's not a miraculous, it's like fermentation is miracle through nature. It's miracle through nature. It's listen, I mean I don't want to get too personal here, but I don't really want to talk about
Yeah,
this, but
we don't
but-
want you to get
yeah, yeah, no. It's not like personal. It's just like it's just you. When Hashem is running the show, when that's very clear, that I am just a cog. I'm really just a cog. When I think of myself as more than a cog,
What does it mean?
a cog is like a widget. You know, it's like a widget in the, you turn this and it turns that, it turns that, it turns that, it turns that. So it's like, that's a cog, you know, and it's like I have a part to play in this, you know, Hashem's role in that thing, and it's all of these cogs are turning and everything like that. And it's like, I don't like my cog. I don't like where I am on the board, you know? I want to be there, I want to be there. You know, I don't think it's chashuv enough for me to be here. I want to be there. You know, it's not enough that I have this amount of money. I want that amount of money. It's not that it's like I don't like Hashem's placement of my fermentation. And so when we can see that we're just a mechanism for Hashem. We're a conduit for Hashem's, and that's it. That's it. We're fighting against it so hard to be something else, and that's our problem. But to the degree that we surrender to the process, to the flow, to kick up our heels and be carried down that fermentation lazy river. You know, the lazy river of fermentation. You can't rush fermentation. Okay? You just have to go with the flow and pick up the signal. Put your sails out. Put your sails out. Let the wind hit your sails and pick up those signals. That is, it will go, go, go. Maybe, you know, I'm doing this so it goes, and it doesn't go, go, go. Oh. So you weren't doing it to do it, you were doing it to go, go, go. We have to, that's, he's leaving us with this. He's leaving us with this. He's saying, the Rebbe dies on Gimmel Tammuz. The Rebbe dies on Gimmel Tammuz. That is Hischalta de Geula. The beginning of Geula is when the Rebbe dies and you're on your own. No one's going to do it for you. You have to kick up your own heels. You have to kick up your own heels. You have to breathe yourself. You have to relax yourself. You have to get in the zone yourself. No one's coming to fix you. It's a natural process. First there's a flower, then there's a bud, first there's a bud, then there's a flower, then there's fruit. It can happen faster, but that's the process. Son, you stay there. We have to do the work. We have to do the fight. Son, you're going to stay there and basically, you know, you not do all the work for us, but you're there and we're acting like we're doing the work. We're gonna our hands are on the ground. This is the tough. It's not just thinking and talking, it's bringing it down to Maisa. It's bringing it down to this world, bringing it down to real life hurts and feelings and pain and struggles and joy, and bringing it down and saying, Rebbeinu Shalom, I'm not the balabayas over my life. I don't really have a say over what my life is. I would love a say over my life. I would love the final say. I'm going to be this much and this and that and the other thing, and get to this and achieve this and work out this, right? Because Rebbeinu Shalom, you gave me all this stuff, so it must be, you know, because that's my ego. My ego is not evil. My ego is surviving. It's the best survivalist. And I've got to survive. So you know, and it's like, if the world throws this at me, how am I going to survive that? How am I going to survive that? Rebbeinu Shalom, how am I going to survive this? Instead of saying, this is coming to me, you know, nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. It's only wrong because my ego didn't want, this is like a surprise. What? I have to resist this. I have to resist this because my survival instinct, this doesn't fit in. This doesn't fit. They're not supposed to act like this to me. They're not supposed to do this. This person's not supposed to get sick. This person... You know, I'm supposed to be smarter. I'm supposed to be richer. I'm supposed to be this. And so no one's going to just rescue us from that. We have to rescue ourselves from that. We have to rescue ourselves from that. And that's a heartbreak, because it's like, oh, my vision and my survival has all been, we have to thank you, ego. Thank you for really getting me to all the good stuff that, you helped me motivate me to do, and all the good stuff. But you know what? Now we're going to just listen to the Rebbeinu Shalom for real. We're really just going to listen to the Rebbeinu Shalom for real this time. We're not going to listen to you. You've been very helpful. Thank you very much. Please sit down and just do what we say. Just do what the Rebbeinu Shalom says. Stop with your survival. Stop with your cheshbonos. Stop with your cost-benefit analyses. Stop with your survival instincts. Stop trying to survive. You are alive. That's the chok. That's the chok. It doesn't make any sense. Hashem doesn't need you to earn yourself. He doesn't need you to earn your keep. He doesn't need you to earn anything, your status. You don't have a say over what your piece is here, what your transmitter says. You know why we don't want to turn on our transmitter? You know what? We don't want to turn on our transmitter? Because we don't want to hear what it says. Because it says make kimchi. I don't want to make kimchi. That's not what I want to do.
Did you say the F word?
I said an F word.
He didn't.
Are you telling on me?
He didn't.
Are you telling on
I
me?
mean, I just want him to know.
He didn't say.
I'm not telling.
You're telling.
I'm not telling.
You're tattletaling. Ronnie.
See, if he said it.
You're up now.
Yeah.
Thank you for your inspiration, passion.
See, he likes it. I don't love it, but he does, so it doesn't matter.
No, because
He's a young
way-
man.
yes.
He's still, he's got young children.
and I'm saying that thank you for your passion and the
Enthusiasm.
and yes, because you are showing 3D, 5D Torah. It's not just language. This is just altogether. But I want to go back to the parsha, like you said that what was the problem. So you explained to me now. Now I understand what was the problem of the Korach. The problem that he was exactly at the same, like, why in your age you will study the marks.
Uh-huh.
And I said, what? This intelligent holy man took the crap and he was interested in what is HIT.
College,
Yes,
college.
because you don't see the results,
Uh-huh.
because if you look end of the fermentation, this is end of the fermentation.
It went off.
Yes, we will never pick up this book. So the Korach was the first, like I feel he was not happy. He was not happy. He came to
Right.
why he came? Why he came to Moshe? He should to say, okay, so it's a tough situation. Hashem will help us. We will go through it. But because, like you said, he was not. He had this ADHD fighting survival instinct,
Yeah.
and this is why Hashem splashed him in it, because you have to just believe him. Like you said, he is running the show. Why do I have to see the saying that we are not managed to go in Israel when I promise to give the land, and you not, Hashem said to everybody, what will happen?
Yeah, Korach is basically...
He was
He's basically the ultimate hypocrite. He basically says, like, I know that Hashem, I know that we are all holy tzaddikim, neviim, like we don't need any leader, we're totally connected to the Rebbeinu Shalom, but I also, and so therefore we don't need a leader, but it was his only way, it seems like, this is just me now just kind of fleshing things out, is that it was his only way to deal with his problems. Instead of dealing with his problems and the fact that he couldn't deal with the chasm between the reality of what it is of his soul, the caliber of his soul, and where he was today, which was jealous, resentful, angry, disenfranchised, feeling very victimized, right? Korach felt very victimized, okay? And so he couldn't handle that chasm, so he just went for this idealism. This is the spiritual bypass. We're all holy sit down and shut up. We're all holy. You know? And I don't have to deal with my issues and my discomforts and my resentments and my problems because we're all holy.
Rich is the man that
And he didn't realize that when we deal with all of that stuff, that's how we get, and we let go of what the outcome is. There we can be the best. That's the way we get to be the best we can be. That's the way we get to be the best we be, is by letting go and just turning on that transmitter, regardless of what it says. Okay, God bless.